Knits podcast. My name is Sarah, and you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry both as Avid Knits. Today is October 1st. It is Friday, and it is low 70s and absolutely bucketing here in Houston. So it's officially fall. Yay! So I wore a sweater. This is my newly finished Laurel Pullover by Along Avec Anna, and I love it. And it's very comfy. And I have to tell you, it's been so long since I wore sweaters, I'm kind of like, ooh, kind of forgot what wool feels like. So this will definitely be the tester sweater. Anyway, yeah, so I got through the intro and the admin. Yeah, cool. Hi everybody, how are you? If the lighting is weird, I did a little test and I think it's going to be okay. But if the lighting is a little weird, I'm really sorry. It is so gray and my house is really, really dark, but my phone really tries to correct that. So I'm hoping that it's successful. Okay, maybe it's not quite cool enough for a sweater, so I turned on the ceiling fan. Yeah, so hi, it's a Friday morning. I have my tea and I have a couple of sweaters to talk to you about, so I thought that I would pop on here. Really quick at the top of the episode, I'm gonna announce it before I change my mind. I think I might do Vlogtober, so there will be little daily vlogs up here on the channel if you're interested in that. If you're not, I totally get it, that's fine. This is my husband's last day of work, and then he's taking all of next week off. Sunday is our anniversary, and then next Sunday is his birthday. And we are going to take a little mountain biking trip up to Bentonville, Arkansas. We went in August for a sibling trip before COVID numbers started climbing. And we really, really enjoyed it. It was super, super low exposure. I think we saw like 4 people. And that includes the grocery store people. And so we got an Airbnb, with the same person that we rented with last time, and we are just gonna cook at home and explore the Ozarks a little bit in the car. We're road trip people, we really enjoy that. So I know for a lot of people that sounds really boring and really tedious, but we love that kind of stuff. So there should be lots of hiking and some biking and some just general mountain views. Hopefully there will be some leaf foliage change. It won't be Vermont, but hopefully it will be nice anyway. And I thought that it would be fun to take you guys along. Now, I can't tell you what Vlogtober will look like after those 10 days. But the first 10 days should be relatively interesting. So if it ends up being terrible and I'm just not getting any footage or whatever, then I will stop, obviously. This isn't a huge pressure thing. But yeah, I was kind of inspired by Tommy of Dynamite Trujillo. She is Moonstone Dye Works and has the Moonstone Makes podcast. She did Vlogtober the last couple of years, and I guess I've never seen, sorry, I don't know why my eyes watering. I guess I've never really seen knitters do Vlogtober. I always watch Vlogmases. When I have really in-depth sweaters, I watch Vlogmas, because Vlogmas is very rarely something you have to actually watch. It's usually just somebody talking to you about their day-to-day, which I find really interesting. This is gonna sound really poor pity me. Please don't take it that way, but it's gonna sound bad. We've lived in Houston for like 4 years, and I don't have any friends here. So like, we're very close to my husband's family. My sisters-in-law, my brothers-in-law, they're really great people. We spend a lot of time with them. I'm not as lonely as you think I am. But all of my friends are across the country, and none of them vlog, and I wish they did. I would love to see what they're getting up to on a daily basis, Like when you don't live near each other, you kind of miss those day-to-day little minutia things, So I really enjoy daily vlogs for that reason. I also appreciate that they can be totally tedious, and watching somebody prattle to you from their chair while they get on with their day is probably not everybody's cup of tea. But I really enjoy it. And if you do enjoy slice of life stuff like that, Tommy of Moonstone Dye Works Moonstone Makes is a very good vlogger. She's a lot of fun to watch. She likes cooking and beverages of plain and kind of spicy kinds, which is good. She's got a couple of littles, so if you like kid content or home content, she's really good about that. She cooks. She's got chickens and a cat. They go to the beach and they go hiking. They're just she's a very all-around kind of vlogger, so really kind of no matter what you like, she's really fun to watch. And in the Vlogtober that I'm watching, I can't remember what year it was, I think it was 2019, she did a Poetry Thursday where she read like Edgar Allan Poe poems to you. And she's a really good poetry reader. So anyway, that's what I'm into right now. It's good stuff, so. Probably more relatable than the video games. I tried to find a hobby for you guys. Anyway, all of that to say, hi, it's October. I'm super excited about it. I'm really excited for the time off. My husband has been working 12-hour days, and his company moved in like late July maybe. He's been on 12 since he went back to work in March. And his company moved from their place 15 minutes away from us to, it's about an hour maybe, and then with traffic it's a little over. It takes him an hour and like 15 minutes to get home in the evenings, and it just sucks. He's gone all the time. He has held out on not working Saturdays, and so far they've allowed that. I'm sure they're not real thrilled, but I'm not thrilled about any of it, so they can just deal with it. So the time off is going to be really, really great. Yes. Let's get into the knitting. So like I said, I started a new garment. I am again sample knitting for Jamie Hoffman. She is Knitosophy on Instagram, and she is the designer behind all of the butterfly sweaters that I have made in the last couple of years. And the desert, the rattlesnake tee or whatever, had the little cactuses with like the pearl bumps, and I loved it. I want to make a sweater out of it. It looks so great. Anyway, I have knit a lot for Jamie. You guys know her name. She has a new cardigan pattern out, and I was going to show you the printout picture that I have, so I will do that, and then I will judge whether or not this shows up well enough. So this is the new cardigan pattern. It is an all-over cabled cardigan. It has garter sleeve cuffs. They are very long garter sleeve cuffs that you fold back over. It has a shawl collar. It has pocketses. I will put a picture here if that picture didn't do it justice. I'm sure it did not, because my lighting sucks. And there's something up with the paper, the contrast setting on my printer, so everything looks really shadowy. Anyway, you don't care. I am knitting this for her. It is not a complicated pattern. It is a relatively tight gauge for worsted yarn, which means I'm knitting it on unpleasantly small needles because I'm a very loose knitter. But because the yarn that she recommended, I actually don't know what the recommended yarn is. I'm sorry, guys. The yarn I am sample knitting it out of is Malabrigo Rios, which is a super wash, and it is in the Aguas colorway, which is this beautiful blue. We'll see if this is working out on the camera. God, I hope it is. And it's gorgeous. But because it's on super wash, it allows for a little bit of extra give in the stitch pattern. So this is it in the ball, and it's a beautiful tonal blue. Like I said, we'll see what the camera does. Sorry, you guys, if it's absolutely terrible. I'm trying really hard. And so I started that this week. Like I said, it's a relatively tight gauge for a worsted, but so far it hasn't been unpleasant to knit. And this is what I have. This is the back of the neck. And now I have finally gotten to a point where I have incorporated all of the charts. So now I have my front, my sleeve, my back, and sleeves and the front. So a really cool part of the construction is that she encases your raglan increases in between two stitch markers so that you can't lose them. That way you know exactly where they are, which is really helpful actually. It is 100% twisted rib, which is not a big deal for me. I have a really hard time purling for really long stretches. It messes with like the tendons in my arm. I'm some sort of carpal whatever. Anyway, so actually the twisted rib has been really good for me because it's a constant flux of things that I'm changing. It has a cable pattern. They are so simple. They're like a 1/2 cross, so it's no more than 3 stitches. You can do it without a cable needle. The way she explains to do it actually is like you would if it was a mock cable, where you just go ahead and if you're doing your left cross, that would be your left. Then you would go through the second stitch, go through the third stitch, come back and go through the first stitch, drop everything off. I don't personally prefer to do that, especially because I tend to be a loose knitter. This is a relatively tight gauge for me for a worsted. And it's twisted rib, so some of it's through the back loop. I personally am having trouble doing that. So what I do is I simply take my needle and I either insert it into the third stitch, pull all 3 off, and then put my 2 stitches that are not on a needle back onto the left side, or whatever the cross may be. There are a lot of tutorials for cabling without a cable needle. I really recommend that you find them, and don't be scared. I did this with 12 stitch cables. I just put my needle into the side that I'm trying to cross, and then whether that be from the front or whether that be from the back, I stick my needle through however many stitches are going to be crossed, and then I pinch it, I pull everything off, and I put the loose stitches back on the needle, and then I reorient. That's all I do. And it sounds super scary. It's not. Yarn is really forgiving, you guys, and your stitches, once you've pulled them through, they're really not going to go anywhere. The only time they go somewhere is if you pull one of your live loops. That's when they fall off, that's when they come out, whatever. If you can do it without pulling a single loop, and you can just pinch them and keep them all even, it's really, really easy, and it's not as dire as it sounds. So anyway, that's my cabled gauge. This is my stockinette gauge. The stockinette has a different gauge than the cables do. The cable gauge is tighter because of the ribbing, the twisted ribbing. And so the stockinette gauge is really nice, really floopy, you know? So it should be a really nice garment. I'm excited about it. I am happy to finally have all of the charts included. However, because there are multiple charts, I am not able to do this electronically, which means that zooming in is a little bit harder. I'm having to print out the papers, which is fine for me. I just sit at the table and I set out my charts. Like I said, it's super easy. You only do the cable. You only do the cable like once every 6 rows. So the rest of it is just increases and twisted rib. And once I get past the yoke, I won't even have increases. It'll just be twisted rib back and forth, which is fine. Anyway, that's my little project. And then I don't know if you can see him, but we'll see. This is my little crow with a purple gemstone. This is from Forest Charms. That's Woolen Forest, who is Maria. She also has a podcast. And may not be doing Vlogtober, but she has been doing vlogs lately, which are a lot of fun. She and her husband are adorable. All right. So I said that I had a couple of sweaters, and I do. Because if I'm gonna knit a sweater for somebody else, well, then I have to knit a sweater for me, right? Now, a lot of you were here last time. If you were here last time, excuse me, then you know that I got a bunch of yarn from the Farmer's Daughter Fibres in her Recollect base, which is what I knit the hide and peek out of. And my intention when purchasing this yarn was to knit myself a hide and peek. That was what I wanted to do. And so I bought a main color. I'm just going to use my swatch, which is black. And then I received. I received these in trade for the last sweater that I knit. And then I received these 3 contrast colors. And I wanted to make a hide and peek. Well, then I made a swatch. And let me see if I can find it. No, I ripped it out. I'm lying. I ripped it out. Anyway, I did a swatch. And to be absolutely honest, these 2 colors are, all 3 of my colors are very, very similar in tone. So a way for you to figure out how to do contrast colors on your color work is to set them next to each other if you like them, take a picture, and flip your picture to black and white. Okay? And each of these should be a different value. One should be like white, one should be gray, one should be a darker gray, one should be a black, whatever. They should play off of each other. And none of mine do that. If you put mine into a black and white filter, they are all almost the exact same shade of gray, which is fine. That is not a big deal. All that means is that my sweater will be low contrast. Perfect, that's exactly what I'm after. Not a problem. It looks just fine. With the black. Looks perfect, okay? My problem, not a problem, my thing about the hide and peak is that there's a lot of 1x1 color work in the mountains. And these two colors, when you 1x1 them, there's no difference. You can't see a difference in these at all. You have to have blocks of color in order to see the difference between these. So in the mountain peaks, you would be able to see the difference, but in those 1x1 areas where it creates the shadowing, you won't see it at all. And these two are better in 1x1, but they're still not awesome either. Totally fine. I had a plan for that. I already knew. When I picked my colors, they were very low contrast, and I did have a concern about the 1x1 color work already. It was not a big deal. I chose the yarn because I really like the yarn, and I already had a sweater waiting in the wings if it did not work out. And I will post a picture of that sweater now. This is the Throwover by Andrea Mowry, and it is the pullover version of her very popular throwback cardigan. Now, I must have been sleeping under a rock during the Rhinebeck that this came out, 2019 maybe, something like that. I must have been sleeping under a rock. I had no idea she had a pullover version, which is really dumb because I would have knit the pullover version right away. So, since I'm late to the party, which is nothing new, let's be real, I decided I would start now. So this is the beginnings of my yoke for my Throwover. The gauge is 16 stitches per 4 inches on a worsted. I'm using a DK. I'm on 8s, which is actually her recommended needle size. So that's pretty cool. I have the same gauge as Andrea and Mowry. No. Anyway. I am on 8s. I did the ribbings on 5s and I did the beginnings on 7s. Once I got past this colorwork section, I was measuring out my colorwork gauge, and it's slightly tighter than what I want it to be. I'm getting more stitches per inch through the colorwork here than I was expecting to. So I just popped back up to an 8. And I'm on the very first row of the main colorwork chevrons. So yeah, that's coming along really well. It's on 8s, like I said, so it's coming along very quickly. It's very relaxing. It's super easy. The Andrea Mowry's patterns are always super well written, and they're laid out in a very, very functional, easy to read pattern, or easy to read format. I have this little dude on here, and this is a fall leaf with a couple of little gems. This is also from Maria at Woolen Forest. Her Etsy shop is called Forest Charm. It will be linked below. I believe she's having an update today. So I don't know if this will be up in time. Sorry, guys. But yeah, other than that, all I've really been working on is my granny stripe blanket, and I need to swing over there to get that, so. All right, and we talked about this last time. I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail, but I have put quite a bit of color into it, so I figured I would just pop on and show it to you. I measured it, and it's like 7 feet wide. So we'll see. Either I'll maintain the 7-foot width and it'll be a giant cozy couch blanket, or I will get tired of it and I will flip it lengthways so that my stripes run vertically, and then I'll just knit as wide as I want it to be for a blanket. And so I don't remember where I was. I need to put a progress keeper on it. I know that the last time that I showed it to you, I had said that I had been in this range when I showed it to you a first time. I think I was right around here when I stopped, and then I showed it to you again, and I don't remember where I was. So anyway, this is my blanket. For a 10-gram mini, I can get from one end to the other and back. I don't think I have any real overlap after that though, which is good. So that helps me really use up minis. A lot of times I end up using them and then I'll have a little bit left over, or if I have 20 grams especially, I'll only use about half of it because I don't want that much of that color in that one section because my blanket's not wide enough to disperse that color, or I'll put it in again later. But at this width, it's really going really well. So it's, yeah, it's great. I love it. I am starting to run out of some of the lighter colors. My first two blankets have a lot of Julie of Sweet Sparrow, have a lot of her Advent minis in it, and her dye style is lighter than what I generally tend to gravitate for sweaters and stuff. So I enjoy purchasing her minis because they give me another value to the colorways that I'm looking for, and her dyeing is beautiful. So, oh, I wanted to talk to you guys about my friend Mariah. So my friend Mariah, you guys might remember, after my dog passed, my friend Mariah made me this really, really cute little notions pouch with little black labbies on it. And it's got some really pretty interior. And I've talked about Mariah a lot. I have a lot of Mariah's bags. And her company name is Knitted Niceties. And she makes gorgeous stuff, you guys. But I wanted to share with you because I requested another notions pouch. I really like these. And I requested another notions pouch with kind of a plain outside, but I wanted a really happy interior. And I love sunflowers. Sunflowers are my jam. So she had this beautiful sunflower fabric that she posted up, and I requested if she would make me one. And she did, because she's super kind. And, well, I constantly have this with Mariah of no extras. No extras. Because Mariah will outfit me with a bag a day if I will let her do so, which I think is really fantastic. I'm so lucky to have a friend like that. But I can't keep up. Let's be real. But she had some Halloween fabric, and I have made a comment about spoopy steampunk Halloween. And she made me a notions pouch, and it is spoopy steampunk Halloween. So it's got little mechanical pumpkins, and a little raven, and some keys and gears. This super awesome owl dude. She's got a cat. It's got some. Hold on a second. Come on. A cat with some super awesome aviation goggles. I love it. This is my type of Halloween stuff. And then it's got a gear print fabric on the inside. I know she's gonna have these at a show. I believe she will have them in her shop. I will link her below. You should look. She has full-size bags of these. I'm constantly reminding myself that I travel with one bag. And I don't normally have more than 2 projects going on. And if I do, I have about 9 of Mariah's bags. And they're the ones I put my project in. And I don't really get through all of them. But I really like my notions pouch. So thank you, Mariah. I really appreciate it. So yeah, y'all head over there and check her out and show her some love. She's got some really, really great stuff going on. Yeah, guys, that's all I've got. We are finally into October and some spooky season. We are going on a trip on Sunday. It's wet here today. I have to take Hector to meet my husband here at like 2 something. They have haircuts today before we leave for our trip. And I have to tell you guys, that's the most that's the most exposure we have. We actually haven't even been seeing family because all of the kids are back in public school, and obviously none of the kids are vaccinated. All of the adults are, so it helps limit things. You know, the kids aren't really spreading it to each other. Mask mandate is required here in Harris County, so even though it's not required for all of Texas, our Attorney General, right, I think that's her title, her name is Lina Hidalgo, and Lina, she does not play. She is not going to risk your children just because somebody up in the higher echelons doesn't want to do the right thing. She's great. She is probably single-handedly the reason that this city works the way it does. We have a really good mayor too. Like our police chief, like our upper our city leaders are really good, and they're really smart, and they're really, really down-to-earth folks, which is really great. But yeah, I don't know, guys. Like, I've got some stuff that I could share that I don't want to share, because they're not concrete plans, and I just don't see any point in bringing up a bunch of news that isn't for sure. So I think I'm gonna hold off on that for a little bit, leave you in suspense. No, I'm not. I'm terrible at secrets. We're considering a move, and it is going to depend on a few factors. So there's nothing set in stone yet. But we are going to have the realtor who sold us this house pop by on Saturday and tell us what he thinks, if we could sell it. And we're both mildly heartbroken. We both love our house. Like, if I could just take my house with me, it would be perfect. But I'm hoping that the area that we're considering moving to will have enough outside that even if the house that we end up in at first isn't perfect, that, you know, being able to be in the area that we wanted will pay off for that. And I'm sure it absolutely will. It's just, you know, for the last couple of years, this is only our second trip, I think, in the last 2 years. You know, so we haven't visited the area that we are looking at. You know, we're thinking about moving to the Pacific Northwest, which is one of our absolute favorite areas in America. And we haven't been able to visit since he took me for my birthday in 2019 in January. Probably went to Seattle. So we haven't been back since. And we both know on paper and through pictures and memories that those are our best memories. We love it there. But I guess because we haven't been able to go, you just get comfortable. You know, that's all it is. You get comfortable. And you forget. You forget how mobile you forget how mobile your life can be, and how, you know, maybe the change seems really hard, but like once it's done, I don't know, I'm not that person. I don't look back with regrets. So for me, like, once it's done, I'll be fine. It's this, who should I? Maybe, you know, but ultimately what's going on right now with my husband's commute and his job is not sustainable. So yeah, it could be something as simple as he just gets a new job a little bit closer. But it keeps him in a field that the culture is 12-hour days, 6 days a week. And I hate it. And he hates it, you know? I don't know. It's like, you know, it's like the Matrix. You woke up. Now nothing is good. So, anyway, that's just kind of some ideas we're throwing around right now. And I'll admit to you that it bounces around from, like, we could move to Portland, we could move to Seattle, we could just move to Vermont. Like, those things are totally next to each other. Anyway, so that is all of my prattle. I hope that you guys have a really, really wonderful Friday and a great weekend. I hope you'll join me over on the vlogs. If you don't, I totally understand that. That's fine. They're a lot to keep up with. But I promise to try to keep them kind of short. And yeah, that's it. That's all I've got. So tell me what you guys have been up to. Are you participating in any knit-alongs? Is it sweater weather where you are? Have you finally clawed your way out of the dregs of winter and you're finally seeing things bloom? Is it spring where you're at? Are you traveling at all? Are you still, how do you feel about it? We're still really nervous, to be honest. It's a weird time, you guys. It's a weird time. So tell me how you're making it, and tell me, I don't know, what's going on. What was the highlight? And I guess I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.